Mr. Kotau, as a representative of the Belarusian National Anti-Crisis Management, where you're responsible for foreign policy and trade, what are the next steps for your organization? What's in the future?
Actually, we have plenty of plans to be implemented. We have announced, Mr. Latushka has announced the creation of a political party, because we have to look also for the future and to keep also this scenario of transformation in Belarus from presidential republic to parliamentary one. We have to keep this scenario in mind. Now we are just in the process of creation of digital platform for gathering information about people who would like to participate in the political party, because I guess we want it to happen in a short-term perspective, but anyhow, even in a year or in a year and a half, there will be possibility to register political parties in Belarus, which is totally impossible right now. And then we would like to turn our country also to normal political development style of behavior, something like this. So we're also looking for the future. Second concept also is the creation of a vision of Belarus 2.0, what comes after democratic changes, because we would like to have a clear vision how Belarus would look like after this process of democratic changes, and this should be a vision for at least 2 or 3 years in perspective, in order to provide sustainability for such future changes. And if we speak about short-term perspective, we are thinking about small but quite efficient and effective projects, one of which we have started 2 weeks ago. It's called bank currency exchange and cash machine. We encourage people in a view of almost inevitable problems with currency exchange, and probably with devaluation of Belarusian currency, to do what they can actually to preserve their money and to get them out of their state. And it works quite well. We see that during the time we declared this campaign, which actually got the recognition in the society, and it's now not a national anti-crisis management campaign, it's a huge civil campaign. Within these 2 weeks, people grabbed out 300 million of the banks. It's too much. It's pretty much, actually. So we are quite encouraged. Also, we see that people also have to receive some positive agenda. If we speak about coming back to the streets, we think about 9th of May. We encourage people to celebrate this date as a really victory day, because unfortunately during this winter lasting, still lasting winter months, it was almost impossible to go to the streets, and I guess this will be the first time then people will have an opportunity to go to the streets, at least with a high level of security and safety. because even during this 26th of April action, then people were just asked by Svetlana Tikhanovskaya mainly to go to the churches and just to bring the candles and lampades. People were arrested in the streets just for mere having this candle or lampade in their hands or in their sex. So it's ridiculous. It might sound ridiculous for Europeans, but we're living, unfortunately, in quite absurd situation from the point of view, not only of from the point of view of law, of the rule of law, but just of normal thinking, because no one could imagine before that in the 21st century one could be arrested in the center of Europe for wearing the trousers or shirt of unwanted or politically motivated colors. The last example is that guy was taken to a prison for mere having an empty box after LG TV set in his window. So we're speaking about that during nights of May, there will be an opportunity to go to the streets and just to see how many of us and that we are really majority, not the minority, and this majority just wants a very simple thing: to back to normality, to get the political prisoners released, to get new free and democratic elections. That's all, nothing more. And no more cruelty, and just bringing back rule of law to the country. So that's it.
I understand. You already mentioned the currency dropping. You already mentioned measures you are taking to combat this issue. How do you foresee this economic development in the coming months in Belarus?
Unfortunately, anyhow, we will face deep economic crisis because now the possibility of state of the authorities of the state to attract investments or now even loans from abroad is very limited, extremely limited, and the economy is not doing well. Major state enterprises are really facing bankruptcy, and it's only state who keeps them, which prevents them from going bankrupt at the moment. So they are producing only and generating only new debts. It's not we cannot talk about any surplus. And the private sector is being destroyed. So the owner of the country in the past several years, IT sectors, is getting out of the country. A couple of days ago, it was published in Polish media that almost 8,000 IT specialists moved to Poland during last half a year. It seems like 10% of all IT specialists in Belarus. So it means that this source of income, this attractive sector for investment, for foreign investments, is also going down. So I guess we will anyhow face the need to introduce deep and painful economic reforms. It doesn't matter. Even the current illegitimate authorities could do this. Or it could happen after democratic changes. But the changes in this in the economic system are inevitable. They will be painful but promising, because we have to re-establish economic model in the country. This process was something like natural during past 5 years, and private sector reached almost the half of GDP production in the country, and still authorities do not want to accept it, that private sector becomes a real power. So we have to encourage people to start new businesses, to go back to the country, even because we don't know how many people have left the country during last year, but I guess we're speaking now about at least 2,000 of Belarusians, and it's more about and it's all about most creative part, who are who were running their own businesses, also in that IT sector, who are just trying to start new life somewhere in Europe for some time. But I guess all of them will be eager to go back to the country and to re-establish, to be the power for creation of new Belarus and a new economy of Belarus.
Yeah, let's hope so. And moving on to my last question.
And of course, we and of course we are counting also on the help of international community. We know that Marshall Plan has been elaborated for New Belarus, so we are waiting for its presentation, because it also could serve as a positive message to Belarusian society that all these, let's say, problems we are facing now, they will be resolved with the help of the international community, and we will have a chance to build really new economy, which is attractive for foreign investments. All the economists in Belarus, and also we had consultation with, they say that Belarus has a good chances for a new start.
I see. So my last question is more general. What's the state of the Belarusian opposition and the Coordination Council today, after a little bit over a year?
You see, the state of Belarusian opposition, I wouldn't even use this term opposition. We speak about the majority of Belarusian people. We're still enthusiastic, we're still full of energy to bring the situation to the moment of positive changes, because we have no another option, because otherwise we will have something like Northern Korea in the middle of Europe, and nobody really wants that this can happen in the 21st century. Everybody wants to live in a safe, secure, and democratic country with the rule of law. We have differences within the civil society or within the opposition. We have different views and on tactics on what should be done first and what should be done as a second, what is a long-term strategy, but we are united on several goals, and they haven't changed since the rigged election last year. It's just to stop violence on the streets. It's about releasing all political prisoners. It's about bringing to responsibility all those who are really responsible for all these unlawful and inhumane actions. And it's about having new elections to bring people real chance to choose their own and normal and democratic way of development, because I guess after such a vaccine of authoritarianism we have had for 26 years, nobody would like this to happen again in the country. It's better to have predictable future, then you are not thinking about what you will be doing tomorrow or this evening. Then you can have your plans at least for 5-10 years perspective, because this brings to stability and sustainable progress.
I completely agree. Mr. Kotau, is there anything you would like to add?
I guess not. So thank you for the interview.
No, thank you for taking your time.
I guess